You're listening to the Pace Radio Network, here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Oh yeah, baby, that's lovely.
We now wander off the beaten path with an update from the Reefer Reporter.
Ha! I love the pictures that Al picked to put in that opening. Hello, good morning, and welcome to the Reefer Reporters with, look, I'm pointing the right way. I'm so impressed. Glenn Prentice and myself, Cindy Howell.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is, oh my gosh, it is August 18th. We are past the halfway mark, and we are here live from the Legacy420.com news desk. And we are on the People Advocating for Cannabis Education Radio Network, YouTube channel, and Facebook pages. That's quite the mouthful you have there for me, Al, for sure. Good morning, Glenn.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, thank you.
The sun's actually coming out today, which is great for me.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. We've got a nice day here in Nova Scotia. Once we're done here, I am hopping in the car and heading to Halifax and Dartmouth actually, to do some visiting and shopping for my dad's 75th birthday coming up in just under a month.
Now, what do you get for a 75-year-old father?
Well, I have decided I only have one daughter. So I'm going to go see my daughter tomorrow, actually, and we're going to get a nice picture taken. And today I'm going to go find a frame, like a nice frame.
Oh, nice.
And then he can take that to work with him. He likes to have updated pictures for his backdrop at work. So
you say work with him? He's 75. He's still working?
Oh, he's 75, and he's doing more than just working. He owns his own companies, and he is an advocate and an activist for environmentally friendly energy.
Nice.
And he works very hard to help that project. And it's an international project. So yeah, my father is an extremely active 75-year-old man.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm going to have him around for a while, and it's pretty exciting.
Bodes well for you too.
Absolutely. Genetics. He's got an aunt that is just getting ready to turn 99 in December, and her only medical issue is that she's deaf now. That's it.
Wow.
So beyond that, she can't hear, which would drive her nuts because she loves music, but she can still feel the vibrations, so she can get up and dance. Yep.
I feel her pain.
Yeah. And my dad seems to be heading the same way. He's 3/4 deaf, but he is a very healthy man. So I'm very lucky to have my dad around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. What are your plans? What are you going to do after we're done here? I know we should usually have this conversation at the end of the show, but hey, I'm a Newfoundlander and I just smoked a joint, so we're doing it backwards.
Well, my house is getting ready to go up for sale, so I have till Tuesday to get the last final things. Actually, I think till Sunday night, because the whole bunch of real estate agents are going to be here on Monday to go through the whole house.
Wow.
So Sunday night is our hopefully last day of working our butts off to get it done.
Yeah.
It's been a year of hard labor.
And I'm going to guesstimate that a week from Sunday, you're going to have an offer that you'll be, happy to accept.
I hope so. I think we priced it below the market, so I'm hoping, we'll see. It's a weird market right now, so you never know which way it's going to go.
It sure is. Sure is. Okay, well now the Newfoundlander will get us back on track, and we'll head over to the first story. We are heading over to Mugglehead Magazine. First off, BC LDB temporarily shuts down cannabis distribution due to job action.
And as of today, the British Columbia Liquor Distribution Branch will not accept or ship any cannabis product to pot shops in the province due to job action by the BC General Employees Union. In an announcement Monday, the BC Liquor Distribution Branch said it will also not assemble orders nor process invoices or purchase orders until further notice.
Yeah. Appointments at the distribution centers will also be canceled and its customer care will be closed. We sincerely apologize for this disruption and for the impact to your business. We recognize the news of the current job action may be concerning for vendors, said the LDP statement. I need to go answer a phone call, so I'll leave this up to you.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
The LDP added that updates and potential impacts will be posted on the BC Cannabis wholesale websites, as well as the BC Cannabis Stores website. In a statement Monday, the BC GEU said it will begin targeted job action after issuing a strike notice last Friday. Members at the Wholesale Customer Center and the Customer Care Center, which is the cannabis division in Burnaby, will be included in the targeted job action, but there will not be a picket line at that location, reads the statement. Retail liquor and cannabis stores will not be part of this phase of job action. The union also released the picket lines, which will go up at the following locations: the Delta Distribution Center, the Kamloops Distribution Center, the Richmond Distribution Center, and the Victoria Wholesale Customer Center. Mugglehead will add more information as it receives it. Last week, the Ontario Cannabis Store faced a cyber attack on its logistic partner, Domain Logistics, which left the cannabis distributor unable to process or deliver orders to pot shops in the province. Despite no OCS systems were targeted, nor did information leak from the breach impacted customers, as well as 1,333 licensed cannabis stores in the province. The OCS said in a statement that it has resumed shipments and is in the process of returning to operational status. That's the story from Mugglehead. Cindy's not back, so we will go on to Strat.
Okay, I'm sort of back. I'm on hold. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to close that off for you, and I'm going to share the next story. I apologize for all of this. I apologize. I'm actually on the radio at the same time I'm talking on the phone. So here we go. We are heading over to StratCan. Again, I apologize, Glenn. I should be right back.
Okay, cannabis retailers, producers in BC prepare for direct delivery. Some cannabis producers and retailers in British Columbia are gearing up to participate in the province's new direct delivery program, while others say the program misses the mark. The direct delivery program, officially launched on August 15th, will allow some cannabis producers to ship products directly to private retail cannabis stores in BC, rather than going through the province's centralized warehouse in Richmond. Although no products are yet listed, a representative for province has told retailers that they hope to have cannabis listed for retailers to select by the end of the week. It's unclear how the current strike is impacting this work.
My gosh, I'm back for a second, and that's insane.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is. I don't know. Like, how are patients supposed to get their products? It's. I don't understand it.
Yeah. No. I mean, they're leaving people in the wind. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm floored. So I just let you know I am listening. I am on hold on the phone. I do apologize once again for this, but this is I'm making a medical appointment here and hoping to get that done.
No
but
problem.
I am listening, and that's crazy. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah,
I'll
so much,
continue with the story. Not a problem. Request for comment from the LDB on how many producers are registered and how the current job action with the BC GEU will impact its rollout was not available as of press time. The stated goal of the program is to help small-scale cannabis producers in BC, although it can be packaged and processed by a producer outside of BC. The program is limited to cannabis grown in the province by companies cultivating no more than 3,000 kilograms a year. The program also applies to cannabis plants and seeds from BC growers. The LDB has already begun the process of reviewing and approving retailer cultivar product applications for participation in the program, and will continue to add companies and products in the coming weeks and months. Producers, once registered in the new program, will have their cannabis listed on a website assessed by cannabis stores in the province, accessed. Stores can then order the product, and with the processor taking responsibility for delivery to the store, as well as any product returns and recalls, etc. Retailers must provide payment upon delivery. Logan Dunn, the owner of Dunn Cannabis, a micro-cultivator and processor in Abbotsford, says he's already registered in the program and is excited to have exclusive products available in the coming months. The delay, he explains, is because he's growing out new, exclusive cultivars that will be packaged specifically for direct delivery.
Nice.
Yeah, we could get some new stuff that way.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. We don't want to release something that's already on the market. We want a SKU that's really unique and can stand out. He says long-term Dunn says he would like to work with retailers to allow them to choose specific cultivars that he would then grow for them. We want a retailer to be able to come to the facility, pick out a strain, and then when it's ready, they can tell their customers all about it because it's one that they choose, and now they can sell it just a few days after it was packaged.
And John Kay, co-founder and CEO of Burb Cannabis, with 5 locations in the province, currently has been preparing for the program as well, with another unique twist, utilizing their international partnerships. We're very excited. We've been talking a lot of growers, a lot of micros, and we've also looking to bring some exclusive strains. That's what excites us the most, is being able to offer exclusive. Direct to retail is dope. Exclusive is even better. As with many other retailers, StatsCan spoke with he sees this as a way for retailers to stand out in an increasingly competitive crowd.
Yep, absolutely. Everyone knows that pretty much everyone carries the same stuff. So this is a big one. This could create a more loyal customer who knows that they have a reason to choose you over someone else. Everyone selling the same thing is a little bit silly. Jim Leslie, who is the owner of the Kootenays Cannabis Tree in Nelson, agrees that this will help retailers start to compete, especially with the BC Cannabis Store. We're very keen on the concept and we want to utilize it as much as possible. We want to be able to buy from growers around us, which is how it used to work, instead of having to go all the way across the province and back.
It makes sense to me too. I wish they would expand this to people that grow more than 3,000 kilograms.
Yep.
This gives us an advantage where we can buy the high quality micro craft products from these processors, and then that doesn't end up on the BC Cannabis Store shelves. And it allows us to service our clientele with a higher grade of product that is specific to the regions from which they want to see their products. I'm hopeful that it can benefit us in regard and set us apart. It sounds like the farmer's market kind of deal, right? Yeah. You bring the fresh produce to the market, you get it instead of going through a great big distribution, you're going directly to the guy who grew it.
Yep.
The producers then must report sales on a weekly basis to the LDB, who still collects the same proprietary 15% fee as they charge for products run through their warehouse. The fee is controversial with producers who say they are taking on extra responsibilities for record keeping and delivery, but still paying 15% extra to the distributor, despite them never touching the product. And that sounds logical to me too.
Yeah. Products can be exclusive to the direct delivery program or also listed through the BC LDB, but producers cannot create exclusive pricing for specific retailers. While the LDB vets what kind of products they choose to carry in their warehouse, any products that meet the requirements for direct delivery will be approved for sale. This could mean that some small-scale producers who have had challenges selling through the LDB could finally make a market for their products by going to retailers directly.
And Kayla Mann, who's the Chief Financial and Revenue Officer at Habitat and Cake and Caviar, a micro cultivator and processor in Chase, BC, is also looking at the program as a way to bring exclusive products to market. In addition to flower, Habitat's small team has been busy pressing rosin from their own flower, some of which they plan to offer exclusively to retailers through direct delivery. One of the more exciting things, and with this, is to work with others to bring exclusive offerings to the market. I think we can provide a real benefit to the shops. Obviously, retail is a tough space to be in right now with all the competition we're seeing.
I think they're all feeling the pressure on the retail side. So to build something out that can be such a differentiating factor. Oh, I just screwed that word up. From shop to shop. I think that is the most exciting thing. To me, that's where the excitement lies. I think those stores that do participate will have a unique opportunity with a producer like us. For William Marshall, the founder of Aaron's BC Bud Incorporated, a standard cultivar and processor of Coombs, who hopes to have products listed for direct delivery by the end of September. It's about bringing the market back to how it used to operate. we can deliver to anywhere in the province. So in a way, it's like the good old days of the gray market. The potential is, I think, spectacular.
Marshall says that he doesn't see the program taking off immediately, but it will instead require retailers to understand the value and to actively work with growers to get their products. It's going to take a certain retailer. It's going to take a retailer who can understand that you have to something unique and how to sell it. I do think this is going to be a tremendous opportunity for both sides, but especially those retailers that really understand the value of good cannabis and small batches. It sounds to me like this is going to be very expensive cannabis.
Absolutely. This is going to be like, that specialty wine shop that, has its own vineyard in the back. And, what you would, if you bought a Riesling for $12 in the store, well, you're going to pay $30 from them, right? Yeah, that kind of idea. And not everyone is excited about this program. Not everyone is happy with the new program. Sarah Roberts, the president of Citrix Labs Incorporated, a micro producer in Kelowna, says the way the program is set up now isn't viable for a small microprocessor like her company. Her company makes cannabis topicals and suppositories. Because they source their cannabis inputs from products from larger companies, often growing well over 3,000 kilograms of flower a year, and often from out of province, they cannot participate in the program.
While the program was a great concept, leaving out microprocessors undermines a lot of the intent of the program, and I believe that will severely limit its uptake by micro cultivators, says Roberts. The program is only useful for flower and is extremely unlikely to be used for any other finished product, she continues. It's unlikely that a micro cultivator will produce enough biomass to make extraction and product production financially viable. We looked at this option to allow us to use the direct delivery model, but it would at least double the cost of our inputs and would price the end products out of the provincial pricing goals. But we just read earlier that there's another company that is offering other products that's not flour, and they're planning on making money in this model. Yeah. So I don't know how logical this argument is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Brandon Grieve Haringa, the QAP at Sweetgrass Cannabis, a micro cultivator and processor in the Kootenays, says he sees it as too much extra work and cost, and would prefer to just continue to ship directly to the LDB as they do now. Although the company may eventually participate, he says he finds it hard to see how they can make it work when they still have to pay that 15%, but are taking on extra record keeping and reporting responsibilities, along with having to manage logistics like deliveries and returns. And I kind of agree with that. Like, I mean, you now have to pay somebody to do all that extra work, even if it's yourself at your company, but yet you're still having to pay that 15% fee. And I get that that's annoying. But I also understand, by watching how things work, it takes a long time to get things to where you want them to be. It takes steps. It takes a process. Yes. It's like legalization in Canada back in 2018. Was it right? Oh, heck no. Is it still right now? Oh, heck no. Are they making small steps towards getting it right? I think so.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. But this is how we do it. We put something out there, we start something, and then we go, okay, now how do we tweak it? And
I also think they should be dropping this 15% to the people who are doing this extra work. I don't agree with the 15% to begin with, but
no, they should be dropping that down to to 10 or to 5%. I mean, they still want to make their money.
Money goes to that, the microprocessors. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and what it is they still want to make their money, but they're trying to give some freedom. So the next step is going to have to be knocking that 15% back to 10 or 5, and that way they can still make their money
away from the government.
Yeah, and then the actual micro cultivator can afford to pay for that extra work that they have to do. Yeah, and they're splitting that 15% in a way.
Yeah, makes sense. It's unfortunate the way it's being rolled out, said Grieve Haringa, but I'm realizing we're going to have to make peace with it. To me, the amount of time they spent thinking about the program, they spin it in the way to help people like us. But my sense is they're really downloading their responsibilities onto people like us. and they are doing less work for the same amount of money. It's going to vastly increase the complications in our life. Kay Connolly, the co-owner of Sea Dog Farm, an outdoor micro-cultivator in Sanachiwan, says the system is too complicated and time-consuming to serve those who seek to help. I think they completely missed the mark and didn't think it through from the system perspective, says Connolly. They need to look at how creating a whole new delivery system would impact retailers who have to learn new software processes, who now have to have a warehousing system, a delivery system, a tracking system, and growers have to bear the cost of a duplicate system.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, which is what we were just saying, right? Like, that 15 should be split so they can now afford to pay for this.
Yeah.
Although she said she thinks that the goal of the program is well intentioned, the final product and rollout don't match those goals. I think people on the front lines were doing outreach to growers. I think people on the front lines who were doing outreach to growers truly believed this would help us, but mistakes were made and people didn't think it through. There were lots of oversights, as we're now seeing, and it's starting to roll out, and the costs are being put on the growers. Now that I've seen what has to be in place for a duplicate system to work, I truly think that they need to go back to the drawing board and find a way to support small growers within the current computer system in the BC LDB delivery models.
And meanwhile, Abby and Shupp, who oversees sales and operations for Organicraft, a micro cultivator and processor in the Kootenays, says he was initially skeptical of the program, but is now looking to participate. My initial thoughts were not good. I was pretty negative about it because I did not understand what the BC LDB was going to do. They were very vague on how the system was going to work. And then at the last webinar we did, they stated that there would not be a gatekeeping situation on actual SKU listings. And that completely changed my mind about the process. Now that they are allowing us to essentially list whatever we want, as long as we're accepted into the program, that allows us the flexibility to put different unique SKUs into the market that we think best represent our brand and work with our retail partners.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, we're coming back. All these buttons, I'm getting used to it again. Al was saying to me afterwards that he does this, and you were here. Sometimes he brings you back when you're chatting during a story, and I'm like, well, give me another little bit to get used to all of the buttons first before I go and try to do that. But as for now, we are heading over to, we're heading back to Mugglehead Magazine. Pure Sunfarms extend pot research partnership with Simon Fraser University.
And Delta-based cannabis producer Pure Sunfarms, which is a subsidiary of Village Farms International, Inc., has extended its research partnership with a renowned Canadian West Coast university. On Wednesday, the pot firm announced the extension of the research partnership with Simon Fraser University for 3 years. The partnership began in 2018, and ever since, the SFU researchers and the company's cultivation team identified pathogens affecting the cultivation of greenhouse-grown cannabis, which has led to the development of cutting-edge biological, cultural, and environmental control strategies for cannabis.
Yeah, as part of the partnership, researchers and students have access to Pure Sunfarms' on-site laboratory and a 65,000 square foot processing center to research ways to mitigate threats to cannabis plant health. The company will support the project over the 3 years with funding from the Natural Sciences and Engineer Research Council Alliance program. This is really exciting.
It is. I think it's a great partnership. It's a good idea, and it can only benefit the whole industry, I think.
Absolutely. At Pure Sunfarms, we believe in supporting academics to learn more about the cannabis plant and what keeps it healthy. We're a flower-first company, and we know it all starts with the plant. And that was said by Mandish, President and CEO of Pure Sunfarms.
I'm sorry. I'm always going to laugh at those. I love when people mess up words. I do it myself constantly, so it's always fun for me.
Absolutely. I get a good
And
giggle.
you're free to laugh at me because I'll do it again and again. Dr. Punja's work has helped us promote plant health, and though this continues partnership with SFU, we look forward to unearthing research findings that will allow us to continue to optimize the quality of our flower while upholding British Columbia's proud heritage as one of the world's best cultivators of cannabis. Pure Sunfarms has 2.2 million square feet of greenhouse space in Delta, British Columbia, where 1.65 million are operational, and has the capacity to produce, sell, and distribute 112,500 kilograms of dried flower annually.
Wow.
So these guys don't qualify for the last story.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they'd be a little bit too big, hey? I am clicking buttons. It is going a little bit slower for whatever reason, but that's okay. We'll still get there. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to head back we're going to head to StratCan. And Mars Canada wins the lawsuit against illicit online cannabis sellers using the Skittles branding.
And candy manufacturer Mars Canada Incorporated has won a lawsuit against several illicit online cannabis retailers in Canada who have been selling products using logos and branding associated with Skittles. The lawsuit, released on Monday, August 15th, resulted in a federal judge ruling that 3 illicit online retailers stop selling and destroy the unlicensed products and pay more than $45,000 in fines and penalties to Mars Canada Incorporated. The companies being sued by Mars were King Tut Cannabis, West Coast Supply, Shrooms Online, Flash Buds, and Sure Buds. Mars filed the lawsuit. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, absolutely. I mean, I've been watching this happen for a while. Like, we have some of the places that just make the packaging and then they ship it to the people making they sell it to the people making the products.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, it's super easy to get the Skittles packaging with the THC on it. And you can order them on the Wish app.
Wow. I had no idea.
Mm.
And I think they're right. They own the brand for that. So you can't use it. Mars,
yeah, absolutely.
They filed the lawsuit to seek declarations that the defendants infringed their registered trademarks, used the trademarks in a manner likely to depreciate goodwill, caused confusion, and passed off their goods. And they might have caused more damage, because what if a kid got a hold of that? The courts would hold them liable because of the packaging.
Absolutely, it could. There have been a number of reports. I remember reporting on the show that the packaging confused a child and they ate a gummy, right? That they thought was those little red berries is the only thing that's coming to mind, or a fuzzy peach, and thinking that it was just like the same one that you would get at the candy store, but of course it's not. It's infused with THC, and then the kid gets very high and they have no idea what's going on, weren't expecting it, and it can be a scary thing.
Of course.
Yeah. Mars first announced their intentions to target companies using its brands and products in 2021. According to a press release from May 2021, Mars was looking to prevent the illegal misuse of the company's trademarks in the marketing and sale of THC-infused edibles, which closely resembled Mars Wrigley's genuine products such as Skittles and or Starbursts. Mars Wrigley does not manufacture or sell any products containing THC. Mars used a private investigator to review the websites of those advertising products using Mars owns brands and to purchase the products. 2 of the companies investigated, West Coast Supply and Shrooms Online, said they did not carry the products, although Mars's representative provided screenshots from those websites showing such products advertised.
Wow. A third, Sure Buds, listed the products, but an order placed by investigators was not processed. Mars investigators did buy and receive such products from the 4th, Flash Buds, the court heard. The plaintiff, Mars Canada Incorporated, acknowledged that there was insufficient evidence in the motion record to support default judgments against the 5th business, which was King Tut's Cannabis. The plaintiff's motion was dismissed in respect to King Tut's and Sure Buds. King Tut's currently lists cannabis products such as Skittles or Skittles drink mix on their website.
The motion is granted in respect to West Coast Supply, Shrooms Online, and Flash Buds. None of the defendants responded to the case. The court ordered that West Coast Supply, Shrooms Online, and Flash Buds must destroy all product and packaging that infringes on Mars Canada's copyright within 10 days. They also have 10 days to disclose their source of all infringing products and packaging. And they also must each pay to Mars Canada $15,000 in damages, $30,000 in punitive damages, and $3,200 in costs on this motion, and in the action inclusive of all disbursements. Now, like I said, I truly feel that, you know, like they bought the packaging from a third party.
Yeah.
And then sprayed product with a THC spray or created their own to put in the packaging.
Yeah. I think this sounds to me like Mars is going to go after the people who made the actual packaging.
Yeah, and like, I mean, that's where it is, because it's, you know, it's one thing to take a product and spray it and then resell it like with THC in it, but then to steal the packaging is something.
The logos in the packaging, it's a big no-no.
Yeah.
Black market brands in Canada and the US have often used packaging and branding that mirrors or closely mimics well-known candy brands. Such packaging is readily available for purchase online for products like Skittles, Airheads, Jolly Ranchers, Nerds, and many other candies. Popular brands of chips like Doritos, Fritos, Cheetos, and Ruffles are equally common. In Canada, the Newfoundland and Labrador Liquor Corporation issued a public safety advisory after the NLC's Regulatory Compliance and Enforcement Department took custody of many of these type of products in April. And among the products seized were 50 packages of Cheetos Puffs, 175 packages of medicated Nerds Rope, cherry, grape, strawberry, super potent formula, 75 packages of Starburst candy, 75 packages of Skittles candy, 25 Airheads Extreme candy, and more.
Yeah. Law enforcement in Canada has also released information on similar products which can be appealing to children and mistaken with the real non-cannabis infused brands. And I don't think it's having the products that, like we said earlier, it's not having the products, because, I mean, as cannabis enthusiasts, we know that for to eat cannabis, you really need to have it with something sweet or fatty, because that's how it's going to get in the best. So this kind of stuff is perfect for that. And as adults, I mean, gosh darn, like, I mean, there's times that we like it too. But if the bright, colorful, child appealing packages, I agree. We should have something completely different that screams, this is medicated. And
I've never been one to kind of block a manufacturer's packaging. Like I don't, you know, my son's he uses a vaporizer, and he uses just a flavored, and they took that away. You're not allowed to have that because kids might like the flavor, and it wasn't the packaging or anything. It was the flavor, and I have a scary feeling that they're going to remove all flavor from all cannabis products.
Yeah,
because you know, in the name of saving the children, right? And I agree. Don't use a Skittles candy bag, but I have no problem using a bright color bag and telling us what it is. I think it's
a bright red bag, THC candy.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, make sure it's prominent, right on there, and make sure you talk to your kids.
Yeah, and the issue is like with those packages, like the rebranding packages, as I call them, right? I mean, number one, like they're stealing everything. I mean, they're changing an S to a Z, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And then the THC logo is like down in the corner, and it's so tiny. I mean, like whenever I get these products, I search them over, and it's like, okay, there's the THC. But you have to search for that. Kids aren't going to search for that. They're going to see Skittles, whether it's got an S or a Z, and they're going to go, ooh, candy. And honestly, I mean, this has nothing to do with cannabis. If these people are going to be so concerned about our kids and our grandkids' health, man, we should have that death label on sugar.
Yeah. Not
on cannabis. But that's a whole different subject. And if I get off on that tangent, Al might get mad at me. So I'll go back to cannabis. In February 2021, York Regional Police in Ontario seized illegal cannabis products from a Markham convenience store that was selling them to underage teens. Wow. The products include those packaged to resemble popular candies such as Airheads, Nerds, Starburst, and more. Also in February 2021, an Ontario man was charged after a young child ate a cannabis-infused product made to look like Skittles. Health Canada issued a warning last year after several other similar instances of children consuming illegal cannabis candies and edibles. And that's what came to mind when we were talking earlier, because I can remember reporting on these stories before my hiatus You know, and the big thing, the big thing around it all was there wasn't enough knowledge on that package screaming THC, THC, THC.
Yeah. Also, okay, you got that one there. Ontario police announced a similar seizure in March 2021 that included Nerds and Hot Cheetos packaging. Early the same year, police in Montreal said they were concerned with illicit cannabis-infused candy like Skittles that have seized in recent months. According to the report in La Presse, Quebec banned most legal cannabis edibles in 2019 to keep them away from young people. See, that's an approach I do not agree with.
No, there's gotta be a nice midway point that, like, I mean, like I said, maybe like, you know, like a nerd, this is like a nerd's rope should be the tiny little thing down in the corner, and 420 THC should be the bright words that are going along, right? Yeah. Don't take it away from us. I mean, most of us, this is the only way that we get relief from pain or anxieties, to eat our cannabis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a great way. Such packaging can be easily found online. Producers of these products can buy either the real candies or similar knocked off versions, and often spray them with cannabis distillate to give them a high THC potency. And that's exactly what you were saying earlier.
Yeah. In a press release in 2021, Mars Wrigley said it strongly condemns the use of popular candy brands in the marketing and sale of THC products, which is grossly deceptive and irresponsible. The use of Mars Wrigley brands in this manner is unauthorized, inappropriate, and must cease, especially to protect children or anybody that doesn't want it from mistakenly ingesting these unlawful THC products. In addition to their warnings against these products in the illicit market, Mars Wrigley filed an additional lawsuit in the U.S. in 2021 against a company selling a cannabis cultivar and related products under the name of Skittles, bearing an extreme likeness to Mars Wrigley brand. Mars Wrigley says its legal actions in the U.S. and Canada are a testament to its commitment to stop distribution of these harmful THC products. Now, I don't like that they have harmful in there. You know, what they mean is like, to stop the distribution of their copyrighted, names and pictures, et cetera, et cetera. But,
yeah, these are only harmful products to either children or people who did not want to consume them or could not.
And they're not harmful to them. They just not ready for them and they don't want them. And like, I mean, so they're not harmful. They're just like, I mean, I get what I understand what they're saying. It's harmful if you don't want it, because there's nothing. I witnessed people getting high that didn't want to get high. They didn't like being high, right? So in that way, it's harmful. But the THC product itself is not harmful. I just kind of wanted to state that. That's all.
Well, I think you're right. And most of these stories, you find someone that poses or asks a question or answer, and they pose it this way. I don't like the way it's framed either. In a similar issue, a federal judge ruled in June 2020 that a Vancouver dispensary named Herbs R Us Wellness Society will have to pay Toys R Us for damaging the goodwill of Toys R Us name. Another Vancouver dispensary has been operating under the name Budway, with a logo mirroring that of the popular sandwich shop Subway.
Yeah. I get that. Here in Nova Scotia, there is a delivery company that is copying a coffee company logo. We have a T-shirt company that, East Coast Lifestyle thought that they were being stolen, and a lot of what they've done, like, I mean, unless it's really, obvious that they did. With the T-shirt company, it wasn't it wasn't obvious at all, right? Like, I mean, he might have looked at it and said, "Ooh, now I have an idea," but he wasn't copying it, and the courts decided that too. But like, I mean, East Coast Lifestyle suing him actually did him good, right?
Yeah, that's good. Sometimes it works out for other people.
But I'm sad that that this is happening. I mean, like, we can compare them to Skittles without having to steal the logo. And I'm just saying Skittles because that's the one that they were really focusing on. But having it say scream THC candy versus screaming Skittles, I think would be important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, so we are heading to our last story before break. Coming to us from Leafly. Canadians love cannabis, and we do. So why can't the brands stay in business? Well, I've got my own personal opinion on that, but it's probably not the same in this story.
Facilities shuttering from too much supply, over-promising on products consumers did not end up buying, creating stock prices and profitability still out of reach. These are some of the issues that continue to plague Canadian cannabis LPs 4 years after the national recreation legalization, as producers aim to course correct in a market still awash in competitive challenges such as price compression and strict marketing regulations. Too much cannabis is actually a bad thing?
You couldn't go a month in 2021 and early 2022 without headlines announcing another sorry, I just got a notification and it totally messed me up. Okay, without announcing another Canadian cannabis grow facility closure or merge. In 2021, Canopy Growth shut down its 1 million square foot greenhouse in Niagara-on-the-Lake, a year after doing the same with 2 operations in BC. The same year, Tilray shut down operations in Nanaimo to focus on cultivation in BC at its Broken Coast facility. In April 2022, Hexco closed its Belleville, Ontario facility to leverage other sites with available infrastructure capabilities to improve production outputs while significantly reducing costs across their entire network, Hexco CEO Charlie Bowman said in a press release.
The reasoning behind all these closed facilities and laid off staff circles back to an unfortunate trend in the Canadian cannabis market, producing too much cannabis. There was too much optimism right after the recreational legalization in Canada, and we simply grew too much cannabis, said Andrew Potter, an associate professor and graduate program director at the Max Bell School of Public Policy in Montreal, and co-author of High Time, the Legalization and Recreation of Cannabis in Canada. He goes on to predict that cannabis will eventually become a commodity, similar to tobacco, where the plant will be grown not in greenhouses, but chiefly in vast fields. Prices have been cheaper, yet producers can't move the product.
And it has nothing to do with what they're saying. I was sitting here just vibrating. I mean, okay, read the story, Cindy. Cannabis producers in Canada have sold less than 20% of their production since the country lost adult use sales in October 2018, according to an analysis conducted by Matt Lemires for MJ Biz Daily. Well, of course they have, because you know what? They are putting so many chemicals and pesticides into the soil and into the water, and people don't want that. They're not flushing it out properly. I mean, for one, I'm waiting for my check from from Metrum. I mean, I won because they put too many chemicals in their cannabis, and it caused us medical problems. Medical patients don't want to do that. They don't want that stuff. Again, I mean, and the recreational community, honestly, compared to the medical community, is very, very small. And I mean, it's being proven by the fact that they're having to burn weed, and really they don't have to burn weed, because if they really, really wanted to do the right thing, they would then turn it into FICO oil and help cancer patients. But that's again another whole story. So it's not that people aren't in need out there. It's so many other factors, and it's almost like they don't want to see it. Of the roughly 2.7 billion grams of cannabis in Canada between October 2018 and December 2020, only approximately 450 million grams reached the store shelves. We should have seen it coming. The enthusiasm in 2017 and 2018 encouraged investors to fund huge greenhouses, spurred by optimism, buoyed entirely by how much cannabis could be produced, and executive bonuses tied to those greenhouse builds. Bonuses, executive bonuses, money.
Yeah, and then they all got closed down right after.
Mm-hmm.
At the outset, Canadian LPs were building greenhouse cultivation spaces that were poorly sustained and expensive to manage, says Lucas McCann, co-founder of cannabis consultancy CanDelta. You might have already noticed the price drop at your local cannabis store. According to Statistics Canada, the price for recreational cannabis decreased by 10% between June 21 and June 2022. And I can tell you that's BS. It's decreased way way more than 10%.
Yeah.
I went last week to my local dispensary on the reserve, not the New Brunswick dispensaries, and bought a really nice ounce of cheese with really good flavor and good results for $100.
Yeah. Yep. And it's crazy. As you travel across Canada, the quad $100 that you bought here for an ounce, you can go to BC. And I mean, I bought a $40 quad ounce out there.
Wow.
When I was in British Columbia. And again, it's mind blowing. The difference in cost, right? And you even see that difference in the BC cannabis stores compared to the Nova Scotia cannabis stores. Like, I mean, something I'll go in here and buy a $10 gram, and I can go buy a similar gram out there for $6, even in the stores.
I've been in the New Brunswick cannabis stores 3 or maybe 4 times. I can honestly say I've never bought anything there. Nothing. Because they didn't have what I wanted every time I went in there. And then the fact it came in a glass, I wanted to buy a couple grams, like 3.5 grams or something like that. And it came in a glass jar that weighed probably a pound, the jar itself.
Yep.
And I just felt like an asshole trying to buy that, with 3.5 grams of cannabis in it.
Yep.
Right. It made no sense to me.
I've bought some local people down here. I've supported a couple of the Indigenous owned licensed producers. Mm-hmm. And then I knew a couple of the master growers up at the Tilray Cannabis here in Nova Scotia, although they have, the two of them that I know have both left because Tilray Cannabis didn't go medicinal. They went recreational.
Okay.
But, that's their political reason for leaving. But both have been they're very small. They're very everybody that's involved that was involved in being a master grower, and all of them all came from the gray market and refused to use chemicals. Oh my gosh, it's 11:47. Cindy, we have to read this and then continue on. I apologize.
No problem. You're seeing an acceleration of irrational pricing, particularly on discount flower. We made the determination that we're going to get out of certain categories that don't make sense and lose money, who said Miguel Martin, who's the CEO of Aurora Cannabis. One such product, vertical, is beverages, which remains at a paltry 2% of total cannabis sales from the Ontario Cannabis Store in the third quarter of 2021. Starry-eyed investors were once enamored with the potential of cannabis drinks after Constellation Brands, the U.S. alcohol giant, invested $5.2 billion in canopy growth in 2018. But the promise of popular cannabis beverages didn't materialize. Even if Seth Rogen's Houseplant brand sold 1 million cans of their cannabis-infused sodas in the country, then again, Houseplant left the Canadian market in 2021, although the departure may only be temporary.
Yeah, so much data, yet so little profit. I'm actually going to let people just go and finish this story, only because I got long in the tooth and got babbling, and I took so much of our time. But I'll invite people to go finish this story. It's definitely interesting. It got Glenn and I talking for sure. So it's definitely an interesting one to go finish reading. But with that, we have made it to break time. It's time for a medication break, finally, even though I'm, almost 18 minutes late. Glenn and I will be right back after our medication session. You're watching Glenn and I here at the Reefer Reporter live on the Pace Radio Network YouTube channel and Facebook pages.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
CTCP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CTCP.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains, and when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed, and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Okay, and we're back again. And Glenn, and this is written by Al, but I think it suits today. Glenn, we've got another medication session completed, and I think we got to get this day completed. So we best get right back at it. Well, it goes along with Cindy talking a lot. So, but you also said something absolutely wonderful too. You said our talking makes it personal, and I happen to agree with that. With that, we are heading over to MJ Biz Daily. New Mexico recreational cannabis supply challenges ease as production ramps up.
More recreational cannabis cultivation production is coming online in New Mexico, and new retailers are establishing the connections they need to secure supply. At the same time, some warn that production could soon outpace demand, and the coming fall, October outdoor harvest could flood the market and depress prices. Ben Lewinger, Executive Director of the New Mexico Cannabis Chamber of Commerce, is a 140-member statewide organization based in Albuquerque, and the market has shifted dramatically in the past 4 to 6 weeks.
The wholesale price per pound is evidence that of that, he said, where 6 to 8 weeks ago, the wholesale pound of flour was in the $4,000 range. Holy shit.
Wow.
Now it's in the $2,200 to $2,500 range, which is still mind-blowingly expensive. But I remember it being that here in Canada as well, right?
When it was illegal.
Yeah, because there's more availability and people have connections to support a vibrant wholesale market, he said. I think that's only going to get better. I agree. Most recent state sales data shows that the market is gaining momentum, with sales for July at 40.3 million, the strongest since the adult use program launched in April.
And despite a relatively small population of 2.1 million, New Mexico's recreational cannabis market is expected to achieve annual sales of up to 125 million in 2022, growing to as much as $400 million by 2025, according to the projections from the 2022 MJ Biz Factbook. The state calls the cannabis companies that carried over from the medical market legacy producers. Those legacy producers help to ease the transition from medical to recreational and keep the supply relatively steady, Lewinger said.
Yeah, another factor in the state increasing that allowed plant count from 1,750 cannabis plants per grow license to 20,000 mature. Well, that's a big jump. 20,000 mature plants per permit as of January. A key dynamic is at play in the border areas, in particular the south and east, where New Mexico borders Texas, which has only a very limited medical cannabis market. In the southern part of the state, places like Sunland Park and this other place, I definitely see lots of Texas license plates at those dispensaries, he said. Of course you would. Those communities near the border are working hard to leverage that.
And when New Mexico's adult use market started in April, some cannabis retailers opened up shop with little to no products to sell. There's still a serious lack of variety, said Tony Martinez, who's a co-owner of Lavaleaf, a cannabis cultivation operation in Aztec, New Mexico. But supply is starting to catch up to demand, and retailers are asking for better deals on wholesale cannabis, he added. Wholesale pounds of flower are selling for about $27.50, down from about $3,500 in April, according to Martinez, which is way too expensive still.
Yeah, there is definitely ample supply of flower, Martinez says, adding that he went on a wholesale run last week and saw full shelves everywhere. The minimum variety I saw was probably about 15 strains, he said. That's without the fall harvest that's on the way in October. Martinez has been growing licensed cannabis in the state for 7 years. Lavaleaf is growing about 2,500 plants, both outdoor and in a climate-controlled greenhouse.
As far as access, Martinez said that the market doesn't need more stores. It's like you can't throw a rock without hitting a dispensary. Retailers are making more connections with flower producers and diversifying their supply chain. In the Farmington area in the northeast part of New Mexico, a gram of cannabis is selling for about $13 to $15 at a retail store. Holy smokes.
Wow.
That relatively high price means some people are still driving across the border up to Durango, Colorado for cheaper cannabis. Ultimately, the legacy producers have a leg up on the cannabis companies that are trying to enter the market, according to Martinez.
Yeah. Wow. I don't blame them for going to Colorado. That's
$13 to $15 a gram? That's insane.
I don't think I'm going to complain about a $7 gram anymore.
Wow.
The new companies are building out facilities, establishing connections, everything from scratch, whereas the legacies just kind of got to roll into the program with a massive head start, he added. Well, we should. We've been doing it for years. Yeah. But that's not a reason to get overconfident, according to Martinez. A lot of the legacies are going to burn themselves out, he said, because they severely underestimated the competition. They thought, we're so far ahead, we can't lose. But that's not necessarily true. Despite the initial concerns about long lines at retail stores and not enough supply when adult use sales began, that wasn't true for everyone. So says Robert Jackson, executive director of 7 Point Farms, a legacy operator with a cultivation facility in Soroco and retail locations in Albuquerque, Cedar Chest, and Soroco.
The existing licensees are able to scale enough to meet demand, he said, but I would say just barely. Product variety and availability of different strains did suffer some because of lack of supply, Jackson said, but that's gotten better. As for the wholesale market, Jackson said he's seeing pounds of flower selling for $2,500 to $3,400 range, depending on quality. Flower is selling for $7 to $20 a gram at retail stores in his area. The average customer spends about $60 per transaction in his store, which is up about $12 per transaction since April. But Croctober looms.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. According to one of the major players in New Mexico market, Duke Rodriguez, CEO and president of Ultra Health based in Bernalillo, cannabis consumers are feeling the pinch of macro level economic factors such as rising inflation. That's leading to a deterioration of the market as consumers are not willing to spend as much at the retail level, he said. We're seeing that deterioration actually accelerate, Rodriguez says. That should scare people.
Even with the increased plant count, New Mexico's cannabis growers are still not fully ramped up, according to Rodriguez. The reality is it takes time and money and effort to deploy those plants, he said. The plant cap was ridiculous, and it got us into a deep hole. Although there's no question of access for customers in the state, as there are plenty of retailers, according to Rodriguez, that relatively high price per gram, at least $10, usually more for flower, is preventing the market from really taking off. That steep retail price is also helping to fuel robust illegal market that can offer flower at much lower prices, Rodriguez said. Absolutely true.
Yeah, we've seen a real enhancement of the illicit market, he added. They're bringing in quality products. The legal market will be tested again in October, according to Rodriguez, when the fall outdoor harvest hits and prices drop. He anticipates he'll be able to buy outdoor grown flower for as low as $80 a pound. Holy shit.
Wow.
Okay, that's even cheap from I've seen.
How do you go from $3,400 to $80?
Yeah, that's insane. That reality hasn't set in, he said. Cannabis is not a very kind lover. Yes, it is. We're going to break a lot of hearts in the fall. For $80, going from $3,500 a pound to $80 a pound, I'm wondering if that's a typo. Maybe they mean 800.
Maybe, but even 800 is insane from 34 to 800.
Yeah.
That means a lot of people are going to be bankrupt if that happens.
Yeah, $80 a pound, but yeah, I think they're meaning 800, but that's still going to be an absolutely huge drop. Insane.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's 1,800. Who knows?
Maybe. Yeah. Lord knows. Like, I mean, I'm thinking there has to be a typo there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. $80 a pound. Imagine that. I'd be happy with $80 ounces, quad ounces here in Nova Scotia, let alone $80 pounds, right?
I was growing indoor a couple of years ago. Had a medical license for it. And, it was costing me almost $100 an ounce to grow. Now, the plants I was growing only produced 2 ounces. Yeah. So, and it was all 100% organic. So there's no chemicals involved. But that's where the cost came in. Well, the electricity and the everything to grow it.
Yeah.
If you're going organic, you're going to pay. You pay a lot of money for that.
Do you ever? Yeah. No, living soil is so much more expensive to get than any type of nutrient.
I never went living soil, but I did have all organic feed. Nice. Living soil was a little bit too far even for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You should try it sometime. Wow. The plants it produces, like, especially outdoors, insane.
I don't have enough patience.
Okay. We're going to go on to the next story. Ganjapreneur is where we are heading next, and we are heading to Texas, where there's a poll being done, and the majority of Texans support cannabis legalization.
Well, that's funny, because I thought they were all Republicans, and they were all supposed to be against that, weren't they?
That's what we're led to believe.
Yeah. A new poll reveals a majority of Texans support legalizing cannabis for medical and adult use, according to Marijuana Moment Report. The survey conducted by the University of Texas at Tyler and the Dallas Morning News found that 72% of registered voters support medical cannabis legalization, including 67% of Republicans. That's pretty high for Republicans. 55% of respondents say they would support legalizing cannabis for adult use. Republicans were split, 48% against, 43% for adult use legalization, while 65% of Democrats support broader legalization along with 63% of independents. Now, I wonder why more of these people haven't changed their mind on adult legalization just for recreational, as it's got pretty prominent in the States. And aren't they hearing that everybody's, surviving in Colorado? The sky didn't fall, things are still moving along.
Yeah, well, Texas used to be one of those states that was like 90% against.
Yeah.
So the fact that they've moved up so far is a beautiful thing. But what changed their minds? I think the money.
Money, always money. Especially Texas needs money.
Absolutely. I think it's going to come back to money. They watched what Colorado brought in. And I think other people are hungry for that. Some for the wrong reasons and some for the right reasons, but whatever gets them going is great. And I one of the things I do for fun is I get a little shop and I make my own writing pens. And I'm part of this group of folks on Facebook that we all do the same thing. 80% of this group is from Texas.
Wow.
So the first thing I did was create a cannabis pen. And I posted pictures all over the place. And the reaction, 5 years ago was not really that great. They weren't very impressed with me. And now they're all doing it.
Wow.
So and I know that that's a small sampling of people, but just the 20 or so guys in this group, and to watch their attitude change with our legalization and other states doing that, it's been quite interesting to watch that. So maybe other people are getting on board. I'm not really sure. The poll was conducted August 1 to 7 and consisted of 1,384 registered voters with a margin error of 2 percentage points. And other polls conducted in Texas have found support for adult use as high as 67%, with a slim majority of Republicans in favor, the report says. Texas has been unable to advance any meaningful cannabis reforms on state level. However, some local jurisdictions, including the state capital in Austin, have passed decriminalization measures, and some smaller Texas towns have decriminalization measures on the upcoming November ballots.
And former Democratic U.S. Representative Beto O'Rourke has made the issue one of his top campaign pillars in his campaign for governor against incumbent Republican Governor Greg Abbott. In January, Abbott said he did not believe low-level cannabis possession was the type of violation state officials want to stockpile jails with. As for O'Rourke, he said in his campaign announcement last year that cannabis legalization was something most of Texans actually agreed upon. And I think he's actually closing the gap with Greg Abbott now.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
He's the one who's come closest of the Democrats in Texas. That you don't usually hear of a Democrat doing anything in Texas.
No, that is true. That is true. I have to be honest. I don't watch a lot of the political stuff on the other side of the border. But I do get a little bit via our stories, because it is a large part of our stories. And then my dad is an avid news watcher. So in conversations with him, I get to learn a little bit more.
I got a little addicted after 2016 when a little dick got elected. Sorry.
That's okay. Here at Pace Radio, we are allowed our own opinions. And that's a wonderful thing about working here, for sure. But I agree with you. We are heading over to Mugglehead magazine now, and Poland approves Tilray Medical products for distribution and wholesale.
Tilray Brands Incorporated medical division keeps on expanding its presence across Europe and added Poland to its distribution list. On Wednesday, the cannabis producer with multinational operations announced its products are now approved by the Polish Ministry of Health for pharmaceutical distribution and wholesale. In Poland, the company has established multiple partnerships with pharmaceutical companies to distribute both Tilray branded and unbranded products. Polish patients are able to access cannabis via medical prescriptions.
I'm extremely proud of our team in Europe for once again expanding our approved authorization for Tilray medical products across Europe. Tilray will continue to advocate for reasonable patient access to reliable and high-quality medical cannabis in Europe and countries around the world, CSO Denise Falsichak said. Tilray Medical is an international provider of EU GMP-certified medical cannabis products in 21 countries and carries brands including Tilray Ethera Broken Coast and Symbios. It is one of the first companies in Canada to build a production facility in Europe and is now one of the largest suppliers of medical cannabis. Wow. And their stock went down by 2.4 on Wednesday.
How come every time we read a positive story about a company doing really well, their stock goes down?
Yeah, I don't know. Some people get upset. I mean, I know I talked to some grassroots people, and they're like, "Oh my God, we need to look after the patients here first." And but I'm really I agree, but at the same time, I'm really excited to see Canadian cannabis companies taking over the world.
Yes. I like when I see a Canadian company do anything, because for years and years we were kind of, held back and we didn't do anything. And now we're kind of stretching our wings out a little bit in the world.
Yeah, it only took cannabis for us to become, viable. We're
start somewhere.
Sorry, laughing at myself. We're going to head on to the next story while I giggle at myself. And we are heading over to MSN. Malaysia aims to learn from Thailand and push for medical use of cannabis.
Oh, good. I couldn't get it to open. Now it's open. Malaysia plans to learn from the cannabis policy of neighboring Thailand in its effort to legalize use of the drug for medical purposes. A health ministry official said on Wednesday, in a country where possession can bring the death penalty now. The comments came after the Thai health minister said he would meet with his Malaysian counterpart during a meeting of APEC health ministries next week, where Thailand will showcase its work in legalizing medical cannabis. With a tradition of using cannabis to calm pain and fatigue, Thailand legalized medical cannabis in 2018, becoming in June the first Asian nation to decriminalize cultivation of cannabis and its consumption in food and drink.
Wow.
Big change.
Wow. Malaysia, of course, they still have the death penalty, right? And it's and I have to go back here to the first paragraph. They use the word drug, which I understand with their laws, that's still their thinking. But I wish they would have said plant instead of drug, because it is just a plant, right? We are developing our own framework for the usage of cannabis for medical purposes and want to learn from Thailand, the Malaysian official told Reuters on condition of an anonymity. He doesn't, of course, I mean, if it comes with death penalty, I understand that too. The Malaysian government was interested in learning from Thailand's framework for medical use, he added. The cultivation and recreational use of cannabis is now illegal in Malaysia, and possession of more than 200 grams, which is 7 ounces, of the plant entails a mandatory death sentence.
Wow. That's insanity.
Yeah.
Health Minister Harry Jamaluddin said the import and use of medical cannabis under a doctor's prescription is permissible if it is registered and licensed with the Drug Control Authority. But I don't even know if I'd trust that if I was in that country.
No.
In April, Harry said the government welcomed clinical studies for the medical use of cannabinol, a chemical in cannabis that does not impart a high to users. And last month, the state news agency, Bernama, said the health ministry aimed to start registering some cannabinol products next year after studying their safety, although approval for cultivation is still far off.
Thai Public Health Minister Anutin, the main driver behind the country's legalization of cannabis for medical purposes, estimates the industry could be worth more than $3 billion within 5 years. Topics of discussion will be how to jointly move forward this kind of policy in order to create benefits economically and medically, he told a news conference in Bangkok. We want everyone to recognize the property of this cannabis plant. Oh, God bless him for using the right word. He said on Wednesday. The more people are interested in this field, more development and research it will create.
This story is like, it's a positive story with, it makes me really mad. It's almost like, okay, we'll kill you right now for it, but there's $3 billion to be made, so next month we won't.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This is all money. We're going to stop killing our people because we can make money. That's what they're doing. It's crazy. Thailand said that its cannabis policy covers medical and health purposes, but not recreational use, although hastily issued laws have created space for such uses. And I've seen video after video of many recreational people going there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, 7 ounces.
Yep. We'll kill you right now, but because we can make some money, we won't next month.
Yeah. When I purchase, I'll purchase a month or 2 months at a time because you can get it cheaper in bigger quantities. Yep. So for me to, at least once every 2 months have 7+ ounces here is, it happens. And to think that in Malaysia, that would be something I would be killed for.
Many times when I do my crop out, I have more than that, and it's for me. I'm not selling it. I'm using it myself.
Yeah.
So I would be dead there.
Yep. Scary.
Yeah.
Scary. Okay. Hey, Glenn. Guess what time it is?
It's mushy moment time.
I love that. Good job, Al. We are heading to the Costa Rica news. Study reveals psilocybin psychedelic therapy eases major depression.
I can't even get into it.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay, well, I'll read the first paragraph then while you click some buttons. Researchers at Johns Hopkins Medicine have reported that in a small study of adults with major depression, administration of 2 doses of the hallucinant drug psilocybin with supportive psychotherapy produced large and rapid reductions in depressive symptoms. Most of the participants showed improvement, and half of those who participated in the study had remission through the 4 weeks of follow-up.
Psilocybin, a substance found in so-called hallucinogenic mushrooms, produces visual and auditory hallucinations and profound alterations in consciousness within a few hours of being ingested. In 2016, Johns Hopkins Medicine. Oh, come on. Oh, I've been just cut out.
No, you're here.
No, I mean, I've been cut out of the story here.
Oh, no.
I'm going back in it now. I think my internet just out.
Oh, no.
Okay, have it again. 2016, Johns Hopkins Medicine researchers were first to find that psilocybin treatment in conjunction with psychological support reduced existential anxiety and depression in people diagnosed with life-threatening cancer.
Yeah, effective in the much larger population of patients. Now, the results of the new study published November 4th in JAMA Psychiatry hint that psilocybin might be effective in the much larger population of patients with major depression than previously appreciated. The magnitude of the effect we saw was nearly 4 times greater than what the clinical studies have shown using conventional antidepressants. Oh yeah, it's huge. On the market, says Alan Davis, who's a PhD, and he's the Associate Professor of Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences at the School of Medicine from Johns Hopkins University. Since most other depression treatments take weeks or months to work, we can have undesirable effects. This could be a game changer. If these results are supported by future placebo-controlled clinical trials that are the gold standard for reference. The published results cover only a 4-week follow-up of 24 participants, all of whom received 2 5-hour sessions of psilocybin under the direction of researchers.
And because there are different types of major depressive disorder that can cause variations in how people respond to treatment, I was surprised that nearly all of the participants in our study found psilocybin treatment effective, said Roland Griffiths, who's a PhD, Oliver Lee McCabe, the third professor of neuropharmacology and consciousness at Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine, and director of the Johns Hopkins Center for Research in Psychedelic Experiences and Consciousness. Wow. He notes that the major depression treated in the new study may have been different from the reactive form of depression in the patients they included in the cancer clinical trial in 2016. Dr. Griffiths notes that public health officials urged his team to explore the effects of psilocybin in the broader population, with those with major depressive disorder, because of the much higher impact it would have on public health. And the new study?
For the new study, scientists recruited 24 people with a documented history of long-term depression, most of whom had had persistent symptoms for about 2 years before enrolling in the study. The average age of the participants was 39. 16 were women and 22 identified as white. one person as Asian and one person as African American. Participants had to gradually stop taking their antidepressants before the study with the support of their treating physician to ensure safe exposure to the experimental treatment. 13 participants received the psilocybin treatment immediately after recruitment and preparatory sessions, and 11 participants received the same preparation and treatment after an 8-week delay. The treatment consisted of 2 doses of psilocybin administered by 2 clinical supervisors who provided guidance and support. It took place at the Johns Hopkins Bayview Behavioral Biology Research Building. Wow, 2 weeks apart, between August 2017 and April 2019. Each treatment session lasted approximately 5 hours, with a participant laying on a sofa with wearing a mask and headphones that played music with the supervisors present. I am about to be part of a psilocybin study here in Canada.
Wow, and I'm curious to learn the results of that study.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
All participants were given a grid Hamilton Depression Rating Scale, a standard method of assessing depression at enrollment, and also at 1 and 4 weeks after completing treatment. On this scale, a score of 24 or more indicates severe depression, 17 to 23 moderate depression, 18 to 16 mild depression, and 7 or less no depression. At enrollment, participants had an average score of 23 on the depression rating scale. But after 1 week and after 4 weeks of ending treatment, participants had an average score of 8 on the depression rating scale for evaluating depression. That's amazing.
It's okay. It's just I just dropped my my lighter. No big deal. I got excited about this one.
We went from 23 down to 8.
Yeah.
That's almost no depression.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
So after treatment, most participants had a significant reduction in their symptoms, and almost half had remission of depression at the follow-up appointment. Participants in the delayed condition reported no reduction in their symptoms before receiving psilocybin treatment.
Yeah. Yeah. Of the group of 24 participants in total, 67% had a reduction of more than 50% in depression symptoms at the follow-up appointment 1 week later, and 71% of them at the follow-up 4 weeks later. Wow. Overall, at 4 weeks after treatment, 54% of the participants were considered to be in remission, meaning they no longer met the criteria for being depressed. The researchers say they will follow the participants for a year afterwards to determine how long the effects of psilocybin therapy last. That is so exciting.
I find it fascinating that it's a month later, it's more effective than it was a week after treatment.
You know what? I don't disagree with that, though. After going through, big doses of psilocybin and taking iboga just over a year ago, I have to agree with that. I was more healed, I would say, 6 months after iboga than I was immediately following iboga.
Wow.
Yeah, and still now, 13 months later, I still have epiphanies coming from my iboga session. It's incredible. This medicine stays with you for sure.
Well, I wonder how long the effects last. Like, would they have to retreat them after a year, or I don't know how long, or is this forever?
Well, I noticed that probably about 11 months after, some of the symptoms coming back, and probably at 11 and a half months after, I called my facilitator and I said, hi, how you doing? I need to come see you. Now, I'm nowhere near as bad as I was before I went in, but I am better at recognizing those symptoms as they pop up, and I am better at saying to myself, I don't want to go there again, so let's go have another session. And that's something I wouldn't have had before I had met psychedelics.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Absolutely fascinating.
Yeah.
Dr. Griffiths, who began his research with psilocybin in the early 2000s, was initially viewed with skepticism and concern by some. He says he is pleased to have support of Johns Hopkins and is encouraged to see dozens of new businesses and research laboratories that have followed suit by doing their own research. He adds that a large number of companies are currently actively involved in developing marketable forms of psilocybin and related hallucinogenic substances. According to data provided by the National Institute of Mental Health, more than 17 million people in the United States and 300 million worldwide have had symptoms of major depression. And I think that might be a gross under-exaggeration.
Yep, absolutely. And that's why these medicines are becoming more popular. We've had people that have gone through these treatments and they've gotten loud and it's caught an attention. And all of those people that knew that this was going to make a change, 30 years ago, they've all went and got degrees so they would finally be listened to. And such as Paul Stamets and, Gabor Mate, he's a big, spokesperson for psychedelics and how they can help. And he's an amazing doctor. So, we've got to continue to get loud about it because that's the way we get the attention of the lawmakers so we can actually end up treating more people. Right?
Well, it sounds like they're actually a little bit open to it now as opposed to 10 years ago when nothing was open.
Yeah, which is really exciting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting. And that gives a lot of hope. My psychiatrist follows my journey and she has hope that they bring all of these into legal existence. After watching what it's done for me, she can't wait to be allowed to prescribe it to so many others, right?
Fantastic.
Yeah. And that's it. We got through 10 stories. We went a little bit long in the tooth, but we got it done and we had a wonderful conversation around the stories, and that's fantastic. So that's our Reefer report from the legacy420.com news desk for today, August 18th, 2022. And in closing, we'd like to say thank you for watching our Cannabis News broadcast. And don't forget to catch Reverend Kelly and Al on Monday at 10 a.m. Eastern, here on the Pace Radio Network with the Monday Reefer Reporters. Thanks so much for joining, for coming with me, Glenn, on these 10 stories. And I look forward to seeing you next Thursday.
Peace.
Thanks, everybody.
Oh, yeah, baby. That's lovely.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
BMA Hydroponics has everything you need to succeed. Visit our hydroponics superstore at 404 Maitland Drive in Belleville and we'll show you how to grow your own quality cannabis for pennies per gram. We're open Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Thursdays and Fridays from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Call 613-967-9888. BMA Hydroponics. It's worth the drive.
The only way to go.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.